Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing a tier list. Yes. Oh god. So this tier list is basically ranking some of iRacing's, well, pretty much all of iRacing's free road racing circuits and what I personally think of them. I've driven all of them now and I have strong opinions about some and weaker opinions about others. So let's start off with Circuit de l'Eden. It's in France. I've only driven the FF 1600s and MX5s on it, but it's okay. It could be a lot worse. Lots of blind corners on the track though, but it's a challenge. I think it's good, but it's a huge challenge because some tracks are just completely flat, and I think that is what you're looking for in a track where I'd stop. So then we have one of my favourites of all time, the first GOAT track, Lime Rock Park. I think it's so good. It's not like a huge track. I prefer it when it has a chicane in, not when it's we're just sweeping right hand corner when you go up the hill. I hope the chicane really can level the playing field when you're driving. But it's really good. I love how it looks. I love when you load up the game and it shows you the gnome as well. In there, when you start the game up, people will know what I'm talking about when you play iRacing. Yeah, great track, and at the time of making this video, on the 2nd of March, they're doing the eye testing event on it at the moment, and it's absolute hell. Do not do it, because you'll get 20 instant points and your rating will go all the way down. Okay, next up we have Oran Park, based in Australia. Now, I've only ever driven Formula 4s on this track, but I'd say it's quite good. I really enjoyed driving it, and especially on, I forgot what course it is. It's where you go down the straight and you turn left immediately. That corner will kill you, and I have video evidence of that corner killing me many times. But it's a challenge and I really like it. I think it's got good speed. You can cut a lot of the corners as well, which some tracks don't let you cut the corners. But yeah, I think probably one of my favourite tracks to drive some of the slower Formula cars like the Formula V on. Then in a similar instance, we've got Summit Point. I think Summit Point is also good. There's a lot of tight racing on Summit Point as the roads are really narrow. Especially doing F4 is quite interesting because everyone's trying to fight to get their place on the track. But definitely one of the better free tracks that you can get. So far none of the tracks I've done have been worse, but we have some stinkers on the way. But Summit Point is definitely not one of the stinkers. Really happy it's a free track as well. To be honest, I'd probably pay for it, it's actually that good. Yeah, and it's also great just to yeet your car off the hills as well when you're in practice. You don't get the instant points for it. Ah, Tsukuba, my beloved. That goes in GOAT. I mean, I grew up playing Gran Turismo, so Tsukuba, especially on Gran Turismo 4, was a track that I drove quite a lot as a kid. It's been in many other racing games, so it's a track I'm very familiar with. There's a lot of these other tracks besides Laguna Seca that don't really appear in any other racing games. But Tsukuba's great. Really close action when you're driving. I would say probably one of the best road courses I've driven so far on the service. But I probably, yeah, it's really good, and I really love it. Cool. Next up we got Alton Park, and I'd say Alton Park is good. It's quite sketchy at points when you're driving. Some other blind corners like Lebanon, but it's a classic. The circuit has a lot of heritage behind it, and when you're doing Formula 4s and like MX5s and stuff, it really makes you feel like you are driving one of those cars at, in a like a UK championship. Like you feel like you are there. It's kind of cool, and there's loads of other variations of the all park circuit as well. So they tend to mix them up on the service, which is really good. Definitely one I recommend. And then another one which I really love, Okayama. I think I'd put above Tsukuba, just because not the short circuit. The short circuit sucks because the full circuit has the whole. You go left through the whole circuit, and you go up the hill and down the long straight. I love that part of the track. It's my favourite part of the track. So when the MX-5 Rookie Series doesn't have that included, makes it quite sad, but the GR86 Buck Cup did have that included, and I had some very fun races on that, which is one of those races is on my channel. But Okayama's great. The Japanese know how to make a racing circuit, and both of their circuits are in GOAT, so what can I say? I also love Fuji Speedway. Motegi's also great. Like they're all really good, but like the Japanese know what's up. And then we have another GOAT. Oh my god, Oschersleben. Oh my god, incredible circuit. Got my first ever win on Oschersleben in the Formula Fords, because everyone crashed into each other and I managed to win that way. But I think it's great. It's obviously a touring car track. I've yet to drive touring cars around it, but I did drive the GR86s around it, and that was really good. I think there's not a lot of circuits on the service sides, like Nürburgring, that are maybe like that. I think there's Sachsenring as well, but Oschersleben kind of sticks out for me as like one of the better circuits. I'm chatting shit at this point, but Oschersleben, goated track, drive that shit. Okay, we're moving on to some stinkers here. I think Rudskogen in Sweden could be better. It's not really a track I'm very fond of. I know they did the Ferrari 296s, GT3s on there, and it just wasn't really fun. I did Spec Racer 4s in there as well, and it just wasn't really fun. I didn't really enjoy it. I don't know, it didn't really vibe with me. I don't know if it was because I didn't really know what I was doing on the circuit, but it was just, it's kind of a bit boring. It's kind of a bit lifeless. Is Sweden lifeless? I don't really see Sweden as a lifeless country, but yeah, it just wasn't doing it for me. It's the first negative track. And then we got Snetterton. I know people love Snetterton, but I didn't really have a good experience with it with the Formula Fords. So it could be a controversial opinion, but I'm going to put it in. It could be better. There's that one corner where you go down the long straight and you have to turn left like twice, but then you have to do it like in a certain way, and my brain could not comprehend how to do it. I'll put a video up on that exact corner, and me probably fucking it up and crashing. But yeah, it was on the Class D Formula 4s, and I just didn't know what the hell I was doing, and it kind of soured my experience of the whole circuit. So maybe in the future, when Snetterton is on another series, I'll probably have a good go of it with another class and be better. But for now, not the best. Cool. So next up we have Navarra, the Spanish track, and it took a while for me to warm up to it. I actually originally thought this track sucked ass when I first drove it, but I warmed up to it and I think it's actually quite good, so it's going to go in good. Probably there's some really fast sections that kind of scare me sometimes when you drive them, on the full circuit as well, not the speed circuit. There's when you come out of the first few corners and you go in that like big circular part, you have to like gear down a few times. That kind of sometimes catches me off guard. I'll put that in the video so you can see what it looks like. But all in all, Navarra's great. And I understand they put the Arca Menard series at Navarra, which is a bit of a rogue one, but would have loved to drive that, but I don't have the ARCA car. But I drove F4 on it and it was really good, and I've driven other series like MX-5 in it. So yeah, Navara, it's good. Now, a controversial one. Laguna Seca, obviously a very beloved circuit, but every time I've done a race on Laguna Seca, it's not really gone very well. I don't know how to describe it. It's been a bit shit. Everything just goes wrong. People don't understand how to do the corkscrew properly, and I've just been punted every time I do it. So I just haven't had really good experiences with Laguna Seca, but I've grown up playing Laguna Seca on so many different video games like Forza and Gran Turismo. So for nostalgia's sake, instead of putting it in the negatives, I'm gonna put it into it's okay. A lot of people probably would put it in GOAT or it's good, but to me, it's okay. Now, the last two circuits. Virginia International Raceway and Winton. We're going to start off with Virginia, and I'll say it could be better. It could be better, but it's better than Snetterton. I'd say it's better than both of those, personally, if it lets me put it in there. Which is not. There we go. Yeah, Virginia is probably better than both of those. Some really wild corners on that circuit. And I nearly rolled my GR86 a couple times on that first corner when you go right and it's like a hairpin. I've done that so many fucking times. It's nearly killed me way too many times. But Virginia's, it's alright. It could be better. It edges more into it's okay, but I wouldn't really choose to do it. Like if I was to make a series, I wouldn't put Virginia in there. Personally, I'd kind of stray away from that. But finally, we have Winton. Oh, I'd put it at the bottom of if I could. I fucking hate this circuit with a fiery passion. This is a god-awful track and it needs to be taken off the service. Replace it with something else. Give us the Nürburgring for Winton, please. I'd pay like £5 extra a month just to Winton to go away. It's like so awful. All the fucking corners are like weird ones. You have to gear down to like the first gear, and then if you're driving in a Formula V, for example, you will spin out 100,000% if you go around the corners. That's not a skill issue. That's because the circuit sucks ass. And I think at the moment they have one of the multi-class races at Winton, and I might do it just to suffer, just to feel suffering for the first time in my life. But yeah, that is the tier list. This is a very scuffed video, but if you like what you see, please subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.